Welcome to Conspiracies Condensed, where history's most controversial secrets are uncovered, analyzed, and exposed. From government cover-ups to declassified experiments, we dive deep into the conspiracies that turned out to be true. They say truth is stranger than fiction. But what if your government didn't just believe in the paranormal? What if they tried to weaponize it? Witches, rituals, psychics, funded by the CIA? This is the rabbit hole they didn't want you to find. Welcome to Project MKOFTEN. During the Cold War, the CIA searched for control, not just of nations, but of minds. They launched secret programs to manipulate memory, break the will, and reprogram behavior. Most have heard of MKULTRA, but few know what came after. In the early 1970s, a shadowy offshoot emerged, Project MKOFTEN, a program rumored to blend psychedelics, sorcery, psychics, and the supernatural. Its goal? To weaponize the strange. This is the story of the CIA's descent into the occult. A story buried under redacted files, rumors of astral projection, and whispers of rituals behind government walls. Welcome to MKOFTEN, where the war wasn't for land or oil, but for the limits of reality itself. To understand MKOFTEN, we have to go back. In the 1950s, the CIA launched MKULTRA, a sprawling, classified program testing mind control, interrogation drugs, and psychological torture. Over 150 sub-projects were formed, using universities, hospitals, and even prisons as testing grounds, often without informed consent. LSD, electroshock, sensory deprivation. No technique was too extreme. But as the 1960s ended, MKULTRA came under scrutiny. Public exposure forced parts of the program underground or into rebranding. One of those spin-offs was Project MKOFTEN. While MKULTRA focused on behavior and memory, MKOFTEN veered into uncharted territory, testing the boundaries between science, the occult, and the unexplained. It was run jointly by the CIA and the Department of Defense, with links to Fort Detrick, a military facility known for biological warfare research. But MKOFTEN wasn't just about chemicals. It explored paranormal phenomena, psychic abilities, remote viewing, demonology, even astrology. The CIA allegedly consulted witches, clairvoyants, mediums, and self-proclaimed sorcerers to gather intelligence and test their powers. Some sources suggest experiments included predicting political events, contacting other dimensions, and testing how people reacted to fear induced by ritualistic settings. The deeper they dug, the stranger it got. MKOFTEN is said to have tested a wide range of volunteers and non-volunteers. Reports mention military personnel, mental patients, convicted criminals, and even college students. Subjects were allegedly exposed to hallucinogens in environments designed to simulate spiritual encounters. Others were placed in sensory isolation and bombarded with occult symbols and rituals. The goal wasn't just to observe, it was to provoke a response, to see how belief systems, fear, and altered consciousness could be manipulated. Some reports claim the CIA worked with practitioners of voodoo, ceremonial magicians, and psychics who claimed to speak with the dead. It blurred the line between research and ritual, and crossed many ethical ones along the way. Unlike MKULTRA, which maintained some academic cover, MKOFTEN stepped into territory few in government dared explore. The program allegedly collaborated with psychics, astrologers, and occultists. Files suggest they tested the psychological impact of tarot readings, astrological charts, and ceremonial magic. CIA operatives observed seances and spirit channeling sessions, not for curiosity, but for tactical evaluation. Could a psychic predict enemy movements? Could fear induced by supernatural belief systems weaken morale? These were real questions posed by the U.S. intelligence community. Whether they got answers is unclear. But the fact they even asked tells you everything about how desperate and imaginative this program had become. Like much of MKULTRA, most records related to MKOFTEN were destroyed in the 1970s under CIA Director Richard Helms. What remains are scattered memos, vague references in Senate hearings, and testimony from former insiders. In 1977, a Senate committee revealed the CIA had explored unusual methods of influencing human behavior, including occult practices. But MKOFTEN was never directly named in those hearings. Journalists and researchers pieced the story together from what little remained, often hitting brick walls of redacted documents and official silence. Whether MKOFTEN failed or simply changed names and continued remains a mystery. What's clear is that the agency ventured deep into a place where science, belief, and secrecy collided. As public trust in government collapsed in the wake of Watergate and Vietnam, revelations about MKULTRA shocked the nation. MKOFTEN, however, remained mostly in the shadows. Too bizarre, too fragmented, too easily dismissed. But for those who dug deeper, a chilling picture emerged. A U.S. intelligence agency conducting black budget experiments in the paranormal, hoping to control minds and outcomes using forces it barely understood. The ethical violations were staggering. The implications, terrifying. If your beliefs can be weaponized, if your fear can be triggered like a switch, then the battlefield isn't just in the world around you. It's in your mind. Project MKOFTEN may be gone, but the question lingers. If intelligence agencies were willing to pursue the occult to win the Cold War, what are they willing to do now? In a world driven by algorithmic manipulation, AI-driven disinformation, and psychological profiling, mind control no longer requires LSD or seances. It just needs your attention and your data. MKOFTEN may have ended in the 1970s, or it may have evolved into something far more subtle. After all, what better way to hide a secret than to make it sound too strange to be true? They claimed it was just an experiment, but some say it was a doorway. To what? They never said. What we do know is this: when the government reaches beyond science and sanity, it leaves scars that no redacted file can erase. Like, subscribe, and comment below if you're brave enough to keep digging. They tried to keep it hidden. They tried to keep you silent. Scan the codes. Find out what they didn't want you to know.